Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hawks Latest, your number one source for news, updates, rumors, opinions, and you guessed it, the latest and the greatest regarding the Atlanta Hawks. I'm your host, Zach Langley, aka Langley ATL, and today's video is going to cover four major storylines that every Hawks fan needs to track this offseason. Something that just happened recently was that Trae Young was snubbed from all NBA teams once again. But the three other things we're going to be covering today are Zachary Rizashay's promising trajectory heading into year two, where the front office really stands with guard Kobe Buffkin, who they drafted a couple years ago and hasn't really gotten a chance to show his potential, and the growing speculation around Atlanta acquiring another superstar, and Atlanta's maybe potential interest in Zion Williamson. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So despite posting yet another elite statistical season, Trae Young was not selected to any of the three All-NBA teams for the 2024-2025 NBA season. And to be blunt, I think this was baffling. I think Trae Young absolutely deserved it, unbiasedly. This season, I think, was his best pro season, despite the efficiency being down. I think he seriously deserved it over some of the guys that were there. So let's look at the numbers. Trae Young averaged 24.2 points a game and led the league in assists per game and total assists. He had 11.6 per game, more than Tyrese Halliburton, Luka Doncic, Cade Cunningham, and all these other top-tier point guards. Even more notably, this came during a season where Trae had really adjusted his game based on media and potential coaching pressure, because he was told that there was that narrative heading into the season that Trae needed to take a step back scoring wise and prioritize playmaking, cut down his shot volume, all to kind of be taken seriously as a leader, which it's unfair, but it's something that Trae has been dealing with since entering the NBA. He did that this season. He sacrificed some scoring opportunities. He really adjusted his game this season, committing to that more traditional facilitator role. I mean, Trae's still an elite scorer, so he's still going to get buckets. And he still earned his fourth career All-Star nod this season. So, yet no All NBA. So yes, yeah, like I said, his efficiency was down compared to previous seasons. His field goal percentage dropped slightly. But when you consider the context, the injuries to the Atlanta Hawks, an evolving roster, and his playmaking load that has really shifted, it's fair to argue that this is most likely has been his most mature and complete season yet. So after all the All NBA teams were released, Young actually tweeted out, "Winning takes care of everything," and that couldn't be more true. A subtle but telling statement. He's likely aware that without another deep playoff run, these individual accolades aren't really going to matter. And Young wants to win. Trae's made it very clear that he wants to win. So make no mistake, though, the numbers, the leadership, and his impact were all there. The recognition this season just really wasn't, and that's okay because the Hawks are going to start winning soon, and it's going to completely shift the narrative on Trae. So now let's talk about the young Frenchman Zachary Rizashay. After being named to the NBA's All-Rookie First Team this past season, Rizashay is turning heads not only in Atlanta, but league-wide. He posted the best efficiency of all rookies this past season and finished second in the Rookie of the Year race, despite playing significantly fewer minutes than almost all of his peers. So that's not just production, that's impact per minute. In year one, Rizashay displayed a high IQ, excellent defensive instincts, and a smooth, fluid shooting stroke that projects to be very strong going forward. So what should fans expect from him in year two? My prediction personally is that he's going to take a leap to 14 or 15 points a game, and I think he's going to continue on that second half stretch where he brought his three-point shooting to over 40%. I think he's going to be around 38-39% from three next season on significantly increased volume. He's really earned the trust of this coaching staff and has a clear path to significant starter minutes going forward at the wing position. So for a team that's still navigating its long-term core, Rizashay's development could be the swing factor in how Atlanta builds around or beyond the Trae and Jalen foundation. of the team. So now let's address the Kobe Buffkin situation, which is something that Hawks fans are going to have to keep track of because it's been an interesting development over the past few seasons, and the front office does have a decision to make. So Buffkin was a mid first round pick just a couple years ago. Atlanta drafted him with high hopes. Seeing him as a two-way combo guard who could eventually take over the bench unit, maybe even the starting lineup, with these responsibilities, just depending on how the system went. But here's the reality. He's had minimal NBA opportunities, largely due to his injuries, but also a crowded backcourt. He was there for a couple seasons of DeJounte Murray and Trae Young. Now with Dyson Daniels, and then we obviously had Bogdan Bogdanovic and all these other guards. Kobe hasn't really had an opportunity to play, even when he's been healthy. However, though, in College Park with the Skyhawks, Buffkin looked explosive, demonstrating strong shot creation and above-average defensive effort and a real knack for getting to the rim. So what's next for Kobe Buffkin? Do you give Buffkin real minutes in the rotation next season, or do you look to move on while his value, I guess, is still relatively intact? He was drafted just a couple years ago, and teams might bite on the fact that he hasn't really gotten to showcase his potential, but there's obviously raw skills there. This offseason may be make or break for him. If the Hawks draft another guard or swing a trade for vet depth, Buffkin could be on the way out. But if Atlanta prioritizes development, he could still prove to be a real steal from that draft class. So, but finally, let's talk about the headline grabber of the day, Zion Williamson. So multiple reports have suggested that the Pelicans are indeed open to moving Zion Williamson in the right deal this summer. And according to a few league insiders, a lot of the league will be at least calling about Zion, and the Atlanta Hawks have, I guess, quietly emerged as a team with both not only the interest but the assets to make a move. So here's what makes this so compelling and for Hawks fans, something that they would want. So Zion, when healthy, is a 25 plus point per game scorer with very good efficiency and unmatched athleticism. While his career has been, kind of marked by injuries, the past 2 seasons have been quietly productive, especially last season. This previous season, he only played 30 games. But before that, he played 70 games in the last season. Something that, you would never know Zion played 70 games in a season because of the constant narratives around him. They've been overshadowed by team struggles and media fatigue, but Zion is still very good. He's an elite player. So the question for Hawks fans is, would you be willing to give up Jalen Johnson to get Zion Williamson? It's not an easy decision, and honestly, I don't think I would. Jalen Johnson has made a strong case as a future All-Star in Atlanta. He very well could have been one this season if it wasn't for the injury. He's a two-way force with elite defensive versatility and a much improving shot creation. But Zion, when healthy, offers this superstar upside. He was getting comparisons to LeBron James in draft day. So pairing him with Trae Young could be an absolute dream fit if he were to stay healthy. Atlanta would suddenly boast one of the league's most explosive inside-out combinations. So would New Orleans potentially be interested in a deal centered on, Jalen and Kobe? Maybe a first. That could be the framework. I don't think it's something I would do, but it's something to think about going forward. So and maybe Zion just needs a change of scenery. But then again, is Atlanta the place that he would want to come? But this is where the Hawks front office has to define its identity, I guess. Are they trying to build patiently, or are they trying to go all in now? So let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you had to choose Jalen Johnson or Zion Williamson, which path would you take? It's certainly interesting. Right now I'm taking Jalen, but my opinion could change, if these rumors start to heat up for real. So that wraps up today's edition of Hawks Latest. From Trae Young's All-NBA snub to Zachary Reese-Shea's sophomore outlook, to the lingering questions around Kobe Buffkin and, of course, the looming Zion Williamson rumors. There's no shortage of storylines as we enter into this 2025 offseason. If you enjoyed today's breakdown, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you never miss an update on your Atlanta Hawks. Once again, I'm Zach Langley, and this has been Hawks Latest. I'll see you guys next time.